Hi, beautifuls. So I have an important message to share, and it came up. I've been sitting with it for, I don't know, about a week or two, and it was a really big realization. And out of the blue, it came out in topic of conversation unexpectedly in our life purpose business mentoring today. And I feel really called to share this because I think it's something that is really underestimated. I think it is shunned, pushed under the carpet. There's a lot of shame around it, especially for the spiritual veganistic communities. And it's something I really feel called to talk about. So I'm going to talk about it, in essence, like, hang on a sec. So these are the cards that came out. All right, let me just pop these. Let me just share this live stream. Give me a moment. Hello, is that Michelle? Michelle? I don't know how to pronounce your name, I'm sorry. Share to a group. So I'm just going to share this live stream and then I'll be present with you as always. Curious if you guys want to share or not, don't have to. Who's vegan here? Who eats meat? This is a non-judgmental conversation, so if you're going to have a rant at me, today is not the day. I just feel like it's such an important message because I think there's a lot of shame about it, and it's very underestimated in the grand scheme of like, I'm so tired and exhausted and I'm like really burnt out, and I just actually need a fucking piece of steak and I feel so shameful about eating it because you're supposed to be spiritual and vegan and not eat meat, and oh my god, the shame and judgment that I receive in the vegan community, spiritual community even, for eating fucking meat. Judgment. This is the judgment card. It's back to front. I can't be bothered turning the camera around right now. But what's really interesting is that it came up in topic of conversation today in the Life Purpose Business Mentoring. Out of all places, in the business mentorship is where this conversation came up, right? I'm just going to bring up these comments here. And what's interesting to me is that, and I'm going to share with where this sort of stemmed from and came from. And if you are new to following me, I've been through a big journey of eating vegan, raw vegan, detoxing, eating meat, not eating meat, like all the things. Like I've been on a very long journey. I've been doing this since 2005. So I've learned a lot along the way about lots of different pieces and whatever. The topic of this conversation is like, are you afraid of what fuels you? So yeah, some people are so traumatized that they are scared of making anyone feel uncomfortable. 100%, right? That's a big part of it for sure. And the thing is that like you are not your trauma, right? And you can get past things, but you have to want to. Yeah, you have to want to. That's the biggest sort of difference with it all, if you may. So in December, right? In December, I just going along, doing my thing, but I felt extremely tired, like ridiculously tired, okay? And, as I said, like a few years ago, I went through a whole thing of like health and feeling really weak and feeling like I was fading away, and, then went on like a wild meat diet. So it's not just meat, it's like wild meats. Yeah. So back into like original, like tribal hunting on the land, gathering style, as much as you can living in civilization. Right. So anyway, fast forward back to now. And in December, I was feeling really, really weak, really, really tired. And like, I was just doing my thing. And it was like 10 days before I bled. And I was like, yeah, of course. Like, okay, 10 days before I bleed, I know I'm going to get tired, need, more sleep, more extra TLC, all of those things. Yeah. And so I did. And then between Christmas and New Year, like my daughter had a friend over and they were complaining they were really tired. And, and I'm conscious, like if I have a heavy bleed, then I'll have like, a piece of steak or something, like just to get that heme iron back up. And, you know, I hadn't really thought much about it. I was just doing my thing, going along as you do. And when they were over, and I can't even remember what sort of sparked the conversation, but I just knew, and I was like, you know what, we actually haven't had steak for a while, so we're going to get some steak. And because she was over and she had her friends over and stuff, I was like, okay. And I went to the butcher and we bought, you know, like I just bought extra steak. Like for some reason, I just bought a lot of steak. Like I think I bought like 6 or 7, the good quality steaks, right? And there's only 2 of us, so it doesn't really last, you know, it lasts a while, if you may. And, you know, and I said to the girls, I was like, okay, I'm going to make this is what we're having for dinner, because they were like all faded away and couldn't really think straight. And I was like, you know, we need some proper like sustenance, right? So there's a meal that I really love making, and I've perfected steak in the oven, which might sound crazy because, you know, who cooks steak in the oven? Well, I do, because I cook it like a roast, and it's perfect because it's intuitive timing, and, you know, I always intuitive cook. Do you guys intuitively cook? I used to like run, like I would put food on and then I'd like, you know, come in here and work or something. And then I'd be like, fuck, and I like forget the food and I like run out and I'm like, shit, I forgot about it. And after a period of time, I realized that I didn't forget about it. My intuition was telling me that it was ready. And so now when I like do that, I've learned like, oh, it's ready. Not like, oh my God, I forgot about it. Oh, the way we learn our intuition, right? So really important in essence that like, you know, so cook steak and then I cut it up into bite-sized pieces and I have it with like lots of lime juice over the top, sauerkraut if I've got it. I know that's not medical medium approved, probably either is the steak, but you know, sauerkraut if I have it, lots of lime juice, avocado, so you know, half or a full avocado depending on the size of it, and some sort of steamed veggies, like broccoli or carrot or celery depending on what I've got on hand, right? And so and I have that meal and it's really, really sustaining. Yeah. So I was like, right, I'm making this meal, girls, and you have to eat it. This is what we're having. Like usually I give them free range choice. And I was like, this is what we're having. Now they only ended up eating like half a steak each. And then like sort of for the rest of the week, I was like, oh, well, the steak's in the freezer. Like, I don't know, I just had that meal, right? I don't really mind if I eat the same meal, you know, over again, especially living out in the country. It's kind of like, just do what you can out here. So anyway, I could have cooked other things, but it was just easy, it's there, and it was sustaining. So I did that, and I did that for about a week, and it wasn't like, oh, I've had a heavy bleed, I need steak. It was just kind of like, that was the food in the fridge, and it was just like, that was there, and I did it, and I probably had about, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 days of like, you know, red meat steak, like, you know, sustenance, like, you know, and the thing is with the avocado, the fats sustain me. So I don't get that starving, like, oh my God, I'm starving energy. I don't get that like crazy need to eat something. And I also don't get that drop in the afternoon around 3 p.m. Now, what's really interesting is that when I bled in January, mid to late January, I was like, I went to the toilet and I was like, oh my God, I'm freaking bleeding. Like I didn't even realize leading up. I did not have that 10-day drop before I bled. Like I wasn't extra tired. I was actually on fire doing my business, like doing all my stuff that I do, writing my book. I'm so excited about that. But it was like, it was such a reminder, and this is such an important message. It was such a reminder. And the reason that I'm sharing this is, number one, it came up in our Life Purpose Business Mentoring training this morning. And I'd just spoken about it previously to 2 different clients over the space of a week, just in the last week. Hence why I'm now sharing it publicly, because when I shared it with my client, I was like, oh, I should share this publicly. And then it's come up again and again and again. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to share this because it's really important. And I just think it's so underestimated, especially for people who are like weak, frail, afraid to eat meat because of a spiritualism, veganism, freaking like mindset. It's like, fuck, like, are you frail and feel like you're gonna snap like a cookie? Do you have energy that's actually gonna sustain you? Like, sure, do medical medium, do all the vegan stuff, do all of that. But if you are not healing, if you are not getting better, if you still feel like you could fall over and break a leg and snap like a dried cookie flake, like, seriously, like, there is something that needs, your body is lacking that you need. And it's not that you have to like eat meat forever, like, but if you haven't eaten meat for quite some time, your body and your reserves will be low. And it's like, how do you feel during the day? When those solar flares come off the sun, do you feel like you're gonna faint? Like, can you actually stand strong and not even realize that there's like solar flares happening or whatever freaking astrological things happening, because you're actually like sustained, you're actually grounded, you're actually present, you're actually on fire, you actually can fucking get through the whole day without falling apart and like, you know, feeling like, oh my God, my body's like breaking away from me. Like, check in, reality check. Because there are certain religions that have a vegan and strict veganism, and even in the spiritual community, the judgment is rife. That if you were to eat meat, oh my God, there's something wrong with you. Don't you know the cows have feelings? Don't you know the fucking plants have feelings? Like, come on, right? Like, being grounded and being like fully present in your body is way more important than some belief system that is creating you to be a weak human being that doesn't have a fucking backbone to stand up to the people in authority with all the shit going on in the world. Don't get me fucking started. Like, religion and veganism and those doctrines that are like keeping you in this like frail state is to keep you weak. We need the strong humans to stand up like the tribe that we fucking are all around the world and have that strength and endurance to tolerate anything that comes our way and not be swayed by anything that comes our way, to have our own sense of power. And you know where that comes from? The iron, baby. The iron deep in the blood. In your blood. It's in your fucking blood. It's in your blood. That's where it travels through. What also travels through your blood? Oh, the chi. Your energy, your soul. It travels through your blood. Chi flows. Blood, heart, joy. Chinese medicine is where the joy is. But if it's friggin' empty and frail and like, can't function correctly, we live in this 3D world, okay? Tribes hunt and gather. Yes, they fast. Yes, they eat fruit. Yes, they eat berries, but they also kill carcass and they eat it through the tribe. I'm not talking about macas. I'm not talking about all that like processed food. I'm talking about raw, earth, wild food. That includes meat. If you are not healing on vegan protocols, you might want to rethink what you're doing. And be with someone who is trained to help you, by the way. Don't just go willy-nilly when you don't know what you're doing. Same with going vegan, by the way. People think going vegan is like all the, you know, vegan labeled processed foods and pretend cheeses in the like, you know, health food aisle. No, it's like even worse for you than eating like good quality goat's cheese, buying like raw milk from the organic shop and making the cream cheese yourself. Like, that is way better. Farm to table is way better than a packet that says vegan crisps. Like, oh my God, you might as well be, it's probably better for you to eat the normal crappy chips than it is to buy a vegan thing and think that you're being healthy. Okay? If you do not feel good when you eat foods, even though you're being told that this is the right, check your dogmatic like belief system and where that is like leading you, because we want you to be strong, energized, being able to take on the world, not weak and frail. Okay, now this isn't like, oh, you should be eating meat or you shouldn't be eating it. This is a reminder. This is a reminder. I'm not saying that you have to do it forever. I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm telling you to check in with your intuition and what dogmatic, like, you know, belief system is holding you back from fueling your fucking purpose and reclaiming your power and doing what you're here to do. If you do not have the energy to get through the day, rethink, reassess. What am I eating? What am I listening to that is not giving me the sustaining energy that I need to even live, let alone thrive, let alone do your purpose work? It's so important. This is a reminder to let go of the judgments from belief systems. I know it's back to front. Can't be bothered changing the camera around right a second. right? The judgment of other people that is sticking to your aura, that is sticking to your brain, that is like keeping you stuck. This is like, let go of everything and learn to trust your intuition about what your body is requiring for you to fuel it. Because the other thing is that sometimes it's important that you do strict vegan and medical medium protocols and like heal your fucking body. And then there are times when you are gone through the most traumatic stress and there is no way that it's a good thing that you do a detox right now, because the detox is you leaving a domestic violence, physical violent relationship, and that's all you can handle. There is no one right rule for every single person for the rest of their life. It varies day by day, life cycle by life cycle, stage by stage. And this is your reminder that it's okay to fuel your body with what is required for you in any given moment in time. So the thing with the iron, right, is it travels through the blood. We know that. Now, if your blood is toxic and dirty, of course it's going to be harder. But what's also going to be harder is not having the grounding, the iron. Our earth has an iron core, apparently. Whole nother story for a whole nother season. Don't get me started on that story, right? But, you know, we're told that our core of our earth is iron. Oh, iron in our blood. Oh, 3D mortals living in a 3D reality that like walks on the earth and the magnetic sphere of the earth and our feet and the magnetism of the iron in our blood that connects. Oh, how significantly interesting. The only reason you're getting knocked around by solar flares is because the blood doesn't have enough iron to sustain and transmute what's coming in. If you're feeling weak and knocked around, check in with your iron. Like, iron is fucking strong, isn't it? Don't let belief systems or dogmatic views block you from what you know in your heart you need to do to get where you need to go. Plain and simple. Really important message to check in. And the only reason I'm sharing it, like I said, is because it kept coming through. And from my own experience, I was like, I didn't even feel tired this month because I got my reserves up. And it's like we can go a certain amount of time without it because it pulls on the reserves in our stores, in our cells, right? There's a storage in our cells. That's why we can eat it and not have it for another week. But if you haven't eaten it for a long time and those reserves are weak, then you want to be, you know, checking in with that. This is particularly true for like women who have given birth, and even like up to 7 to 10 years after you've had a child. If you're having issues, check in. How much iron, how much recovery time did I actually give my body to restore, right? The organ meats, all those beautiful, like real earthy, deep tissue, core, heavy iron, grounding, nourishing, replenishing, stabilizing energies. They don't want us to be strong, but we are naturally strong when we trust our intuition with what we need to do at any given stage of our life. So important. Biggest reminder. So these are the final hours for Life Purpose Accelerator. If you want to come into a space where there is no judgment, where you're totally guided and supported in your intuition, where you heal childhood, past life, shadow interchanging, trauma convergence timelines, and all the things to get you clear on what your purpose actually is, but for you to have the strength and the courage and the support to trust that, to follow that, to create the path that has not been walked before. Life Purpose Accelerator is for you. Link is in the title of the comments. Curious if you've got thoughts, feelings, feel uncomfortable about what I said, left me, unfollowed me, that's okay. It's totally okay. I support your views no matter what. But when a message comes through and I'm going to share it. Sending you guys lots of love. See you soon.